Hello everyone, my name is Alan from Sauber-Lab, and yes, I'm back in my living room before everyone asks. What I want to say is someone from my channel asked, Alan, I have a Raspberry Pi, I have a SD card of course to run the Raspberry Pi, and I want to do my server in this Raspberry Pi, but I don't want to install OpenMediaVault. Basically in this server I want that you have FTP, I want to have a SMB, I want to protect my accounts with Fail2Ban, and I don't want to run any other application. I want to run directly in the Raspbian, because if I have any problem or if I want to see what's going on, I still able to see with a desktop version. It's not the best option, but yes, we can do it. So in this way, I'm gonna show you how you can use a Raspberry Pi any version and install some applications, basic ones, SMB, FTP, Fail2Ban, Docker, to run all your server. If you want more applications, yes, you can install more applications, but for this stage, we're gonna do these steps. If you like this idea and want to learn a little bit more about it, we're gonna show, but first of all, don't forget to subscribe for the channel, leave your like, and let's do it. I'm sure that some of you will ask, Alan, why you're going so basic? But yes, it's important because not everyone knows all the bases. Basically, I have a Raspberry Pi. The idea for this Raspberry Pi that I don't like to run through the Wi-Fi. You can do it, but I suggest you don't do it, because if you're running your server or your application wants to have a stable connection, and you know, RJ45, it's quite easy. But if you don't want, you're gonna run in Wi-Fi, and a lot of time you could go in the trouble that you lose the connection, or the connection is not stable, or the signal have a lost or is not fast enough. Principally, if you have a Raspberry Pi 4, you can have a USB 3, and USB 3 can transfer up to, I don't know, 100 megabytes per second in your USB connection. But if your Wi-Fi is not able to supply this information or this amount, so what's the point to have a Raspberry Pi 4 or invest a better hardware and you use the Wi-Fi option? As maximum as I can use network connection or cable, I will do it because it's more stable and better. If some options I cannot do it, but if I can, I will do. Okay, have this one in mind. We're gonna look now the operating system that you're gonna run. If I open the official site from Raspberry Pi and go in the software option, I come for this page. In this page, if I go a little bit down, I can see all the options for download. So let's see what we have here. In the options for download, I have lots of options, but let's go first the base. This one's the official options for the Raspberry Pi. In these official options, you can have the desktop with all the softwares that they say that's recommend, and I recommend it because it's better. You have all the application read. If you want to save a little bit of space, you can go for the desktop only, and that you need to install all the extra application that you need. Look like if you want to use Cur, you need to install Cur. If you want to use pip, you need to install pip, and Python, you need to install Python, and all the rest of the applications. So in our case, we go in this option, but only for explain the rest. You have the Raspberry Pi Lite, where they don't have a desktop option. It's the lightest one, what I will suggest in a normal installation. But as the person that asked wants to have a desktop option, so this one will fit as a better opportunity for you. You have always the possibility to install this Raspberry Pi or this operating system in a desktop. If you go down, you have some third-party components, look like a Kodi that you can do your internet media server. You can install Ubuntu desktop, server and core, RetroPie for some games, and this one that I have no idea what's it. But if you want to try, 30 days free trial, so it's fine. Let's go here and we're gonna download this option. Once that has been done the download for this option, we need to get our SD card, and we need you to connect for our adapter because my computer cannot read it directly. These ones connect for our computer. With Balena Edge, we're gonna select the image that we just download. You can unzip or not unzip, doesn't matter. You can select the target, and flash the SD card. Once that they flash, they will run for all the procedure as flash and validation. Once that finish the validation, they will eject the SD card, but we need to put again in the system because we need to do some extra steps. Once that put again, they appear this information, we can cancel and appear the boot option. In the boot option, we need to create a text file here, text document called SSH. This one is exactly because I want to access the Raspberry Pi through the SSH. Because we are using Raspberry Pi Desktop, you can physically do it in the Raspberry Pi. But I don't have a capture card, so I cannot record what's going through the Raspberry Pi Desktop, so I need to do this option. But if you want, you can run all these steps directly in your Raspberry Pi, directly in your interface there. Have this one done, we can eject the SD card, come in our Raspberry Pi, put the SD card, power on, of course, use the RJ45 and that's wait some minutes until they start. Once that your Raspberry Pi start, you have a lot of options to discover the IP address for Raspberry Pi. You can go in your router, you have some application that you can search it. But as I know, my IP address it ends with 232. So I can open my put and start to access through the SSH. Here I will put my IP address 192.1.232 and I will put open. The first time that you open, they will open these messages say, take care, you are sure that you want to access it? Yes. So I put yes. Now they open this page, let's maximize it and let's make our login. The standard login for this Raspberry Pi will be pi and pass Raspbian berry. We do login, let's clear this page and have everything tight. So now first step, you need to update your system because you can go to trouble that some information not update, some information is not run correctly the way that should be, and that you end up not have a full experience or some issue. So first thing, we're gonna update our library. So we put sudo update and we wait some seconds until they do update our packaging. They will appear that it's complete, so we can do our full upgrade. Once that you run the full upgrade, they will say that it's complete. Don't worry, I already did it before because I know that take a really long time. First time that I run this one, either with a fast SD card, they take around 10 minutes or something, only to do all these updates. So I don't want to make you wait 10 minutes only to see it. Once that this update is done, we can start to install our FTP. To do it, we're gonna run this easy application. Sudo apt install vsftpd. So it's the application for FTP and run it. They will go for the installation, take some seconds, and that's once that is complete, you're gonna know it, okay? Only wait. Once that open the option to tape, you can come here and put clear. And now we're gonna start to configure our FTP. But first of all, let's make a backup for it. So we're gonna run sudo cp etc vff configuration and we make a backup for local. So we come here. After this one, we're gonna start to configure our FTP. But how I'm sure that this backup has been done correctly? It's simple. We can go cd/etc and we open this folder. So we can ls and we know that our configuration for the FTP is here in the side, and I already have twice it. One is our configuration, other is our backup. So now we can go cd again, clear everything to be tight, and we start to modify our configuration. So we come here and type sudo nano etc vsftpd.conf.local and run it. In this page, we're gonna change some information. It's not so much, but we need to do. First thing, we go down. So we come here and write enable, yes. We need to remove the symbol to be able to run it. Then we go down, and local umask22, yes, I want to habilitate this one as well. And I keep going down until this information here, yes, here. If you guys can see, Chrome root local user, yes, I want to modify it as well. And then I keep going down until that. Now we'll add 2 arguments in this one. This argument is quite important if you want that your user only have access for your user FTP. If you want that your users have access for everything, so you don't need to do it. But I like to do it exactly because I want that each user will have access for the user FTP. Otherwise, they will have access for all the root and everything, and you can come into trouble that this user will delete or will change something that's important and make your system stop to work. So to avoid it, it's easy to create these two arguments. Basically, it's use subtoken user, so they will access the user folder, and the FTP will be user and FTP. So have this one add for our configuration. We can Ctrl X and we can put yes, enter. Once that is done, now we need to add our user account. To add our user account, we're gonna run sudo add user Sauber-Lab and ask, please add your password. But before we add your password, I will explain some information. If you look here, they add already our group ID or our GID as a 1001 and our user ID as 1001 as well. It means that in the next steps, when the Docker asks or when you need to do any configuration, our ID and UID will be 1001 and 1001 because it's my first user. If I have more users, there will be different numbers, but at least you know that for this first user will be this one. Now we can set our password. Let's put the password test123 and again. Perfect. Now they will ask, you want to define the name of your user? Yes. Sauber-Lab. Now we go next. Room, no I don't want. Work phone, no I don't want. Home phone, no I don't want. Others, no I don't want. So they ask, all the information is correct? Yes, it's correct. So yes, enter. And now we have our user create. But this user don't have any folder yet. They don't have place to save our FTP or how to access it. So let's create it. To create it's easy. We're gonna do the following step. Sudo mkdir /p home, then the Sauber-Lab, the user that I'm using. If you create another user here, create please the same name, otherwise not work. And that will have FTP and the files. I can create this folder files. Yes and no, it's not necessary to create, but I like to create as a file. So we created this folder. Now we need to define the permissions because at the moment only the root have a permission to modify it. So let's open permissions for all the users. So we put this follow step. That's so we're gonna define the permission for a/w for this FTP folder and we run it. So now have everything set. We need to restart our FTP for update all the configuration. So we come here and put sudo service FTP restart. Now everything has been restarted. Let's try to access our FTP. To do it, we're gonna open our FileZilla. Let's do it 192.168.1.232. Our user account will be Sauber-Lab, our password test123, and our port I can put port 21 or I can leave empty. And we come and click connection. The red appear the port 21 because it's standard, and I put OK. Now we already have access for our FTP and the permission has been defined. So I can come here and copy any information or jump any information the way that you want. Wonderful, just finished to install our FTP, so I can close it and clear the page. What's the next step that we're gonna do? If you answer Samba or SMB, yes, you're right, let's do it. Now, how to install the SMB, it's really easy as well. To do the installation, basically we only run this installation step. Sudo apt get install SMB Samba common bin and we run it. Will take some minutes, the same way that will take for other application. This one they say that will use 37 megabytes. You are sure to use it? So yes, I'm sure. And we wait some minutes until they finish the installation. So let's wait. Once that appear here, they advise that you should have a static IP. If you don't have a static IP, you need to configure it as dynamic IP, and that you'll be able to access for the name of the application or server name. So you can decide yes, I want to access more for the server, and we go there and put yes. So let's wait it. In this way, you can access for the same name that you define in your Samba configuration. Perfectly, once that has been installed SMB, now we need to configure our share folder for the user. So in this way, we're gonna run sudo mkdir home Sauber-Lab share folder. If you don't want to use a specific this way or specific for the user, you can modify and create any place. But in my case, I'm creating for the user Sauber-Lab, so I want that they have access for only this share. So I create this one. Now I need to change permissions as well for the user have access for it. The same way that I did with the FTP, I need to do for our share folder. Wonderful, I just finished it. Now I can open the configuration for the SMB and start to configure it. To do it, it's simple, it's sudo nano SMB config. And now if you go down here, you can have some basic configuration. Workgroup, I will change, leave the same. If your interface don't fit in these ones, you can change, but these ones will be really ample because it's 08. Blind information, and we go down, and all the information, if you want to change, you can change it here. But in my case, I will not change it. So I come down, and here in the down, I will add our extra configuration. If you look here, they will already appear all the information for our printers. If you have a printer connected for your network, will appear here. Now we're gonna create a folder for the Sauber-Lab. So I create Sauber-Lab, and the path for the Sauber-Lab is exactly the same as I created before with my mkdir. Writable, yes, I want that user is able to write. Then I create the mask and directly 0777 for both. And public, no, I don't want that everyone access, so only users. Have this one done, I can come here and put Ctrl X, yes, enter. So now I configure my configuration. If I want to have extra users or extra configurations, I can come here back and modify it. But as a standard and what I want for my local home will be good enough for it. Now can I start the service? No, because basically my user, it's not added to SMB database or to allow the users. To do it, I need to SMB password /a and my user that I'm using, and I put enter, they will ask my password. I will put exactly the same password as before, and done. I just add my user Sauber-Lab and create a password, then I can access with this user. I didn't add my Pi user, so my Pi cannot access it, only the Sauber-Lab. If I want to have more users, I can add all the users in the same step. Have this one, now I can restart my service, so I can do sudo restart SMB, and now I can check if the SMB is working, running. To do it, I do status SMB, and now if you can see, they will say running, so it's running. We can test it. How we can test it? Now that I configured my Raspberry Pi as a dynamic IP, so I can come here and put / Raspberry Pi /. So I can have access for my SMB, and here I have my user Sauber-Lab. Here my user Sauber-Lab, I can try to open it. They will ask, what's your account? Let's change it and put Sauber-Lab, because only this user that has access for it. So I can come here and put my password and put OK. So now I have access for my SMB. In this way, I can do all the information that I want. I have everything, but I don't have Fail2Ban installed. To do it, it's quite easy. I put sudo apt install get Fail2Ban and I run it. They'll take some seconds until they finish the installation. They will say, you are sure that you want to install? Yes, I'm sure. And let's wait. Now, first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna make a copy for our configuration for a local. It means that we're gonna run jconfig to local. As the Fail2Ban work a little bit different, once that you create this copy, they already go to read automatically this copy. So we can make this copy and start modifying this copy. Here we can go down, or we can search, we can put Ctrl W and we look for sshd. It's not this one, will be the next one. So we go again, sshd, and this one. Once that appeared exactly the same information, we go a little bit down and we're gonna add some extra arguments. We're gonna add those arguments. Fail2Ban enable, so we need to enable this one. We need to filter it for sshd. The port that we're gonna use, it's the SSH, or it means port 22. The IP browsable, if you have multiple doors, they will basically block it. The bad time will be 100. The bad time will be 1800 seconds. If you want to be undeterminate or look like block forever, you can put as a -1. But I think that each half hour will be nice. If I make more than 3 mistakes, it will take half hour before I can try again. It's great. I don't think that's undeterminate or too long time it's worth. Anyway, if someone tried to do a brute force to discover a password and take 30 minutes for each 3 trials, it will take forever to try, principally if you have a hard password. Have this one, I can come here and Ctrl X, yes, and enter. Now what I need to do, I need to restart my service. So I can come here and put sudo FTP restart. Then I restart my service, and I have installed everything? No, I need to install my Docker. To install my Docker is quite easy, it's only one small step. I run cur sl get docker.conf.local. This, because it's a cool installation, they will install everything by standard, so I don't need you to worry about anything. It's only run this application, wait to finish the installation. If you have your system update and everything is running well, they will install with no problems. If something that you did or you didn't update your system, then they will show some issue, but then we can work on it. In my case, because it's a fresh Raspberry Pi that I just started the installation, should not have any problem. So let's wait. Once appear this information that the Docker is running everything, so be happy because supposedly work. But how we can be sure that it's really working the Docker installation? We can install or can run the basic Docker containing the word. It's a hello world. And now we wait. Once that appear, hello world locally working, so it's working and it's running. So now we can install our Portainer. The Portainer is the basic program that you can install for manage your Docker. So it will be really easy to see what application is running or which container that you have, and as well have the option for stock that you can run some stock tracking on that. So let's do it. First thing, we need to create our volume. To do it, first we need to clean this page, otherwise it's complicated to see. After this one, we come here and I will create our volume. To do it, we're gonna do sudo and docker volume create portainer underscore data, and we run it. They already create our underscore data. So now we can start to install our Portainer. We're gonna follow this one, sudo and docker run. The ports for our Portainer will be 9000. Portainer restart always, and here will be all the volumes. So we can come here and put enter. Okay, once that finished the installation, they already appear this big information, so we can check if it's really installed. How to do it? We're gonna open our server, and with the port 9000, we can check it. If you open our port, the first time that it will open will show this information. Create a user, so we can create our password. You can change the username, but in our case, I will leave as admin, and we put create user. So now the red appear this information that has been created. If I open the primary, the red appear our information for the Docker. So if I come here in the container, I red show hello world working. For now, you can start the rest of the application. You can install your proxy manager to manage your sites. You can install the Cloudflare or the Docker DNS to have your dynamic DNS set up. You can install your Nextcloud. You can install all the rest of applications for the Docker, the same ones that I show, and it will be exactly the same procedure that I was already doing before. Also, you can have an external hard drive that you can connect to your Raspberry Pi and make a merge for have your share folder connected to your external hard drive, and you can have more than one hard drive, all make a big merge and make a mount point in your share folder. So in this way, you can have access for your external hard drives, and you can install all the application. Only will be a little different from the Open Media Vault because the absolute path will be a little bit different. But it's not something that you cannot look how to discover it in the Google. If you like this video and think that it's useful, please don't forget to leave your like, consider to subscribe for the channel, and see you next time. Bye.